I love your home already, and I haven't even seen it. Does that sound crazy? It's not. When we improve our surroundings, we simultaneously empower ourselves, which means every inch of space within your reach right now is an opportunity to tell the story you want to be living. Tell me that's not its own kind of wonderful. I have spent the last 15 years consulting clients and their homes through the wisdom of Feng Shui, intentional design, and some crystal clear communication. And you know what happens when you bring those three together? Life-changing magic. Your home is already in a conversation with you, so why not learn how to merge that awareness with some simple, straightforward, and smart action to co-create the life you want? I'm Amanda Gibby Peters, and I am here to help you learn how. Welcome to House Therapy. So the other day I was out running with one of my girlies. We were going out for a 5-mile run and she had her music playing, and I've been a runner for like ever. It's just been my go-to exercise for decades. I love the rhythm. I love the mental discipline, the fatigue, just all of it. But my lovely is a little new to it. So as new songs and tempos were coming on, she was speeding up to run more with the rhythm. But 5 miles, especially when you're more new to running, can be a little challenging to complete if you're mini sprinting it, which was what she was kind of doing. So in the midst of thinking to myself, do I keep up and let her fatigue, or do I pull her back? I had this memory sort of interrupt that conversation. So here we go. Imagine me, I'm in 9th grade. It's my first year running track for school. And in this particular memory, we're at my first competitive track meet. I'm running the 400, and because running has always been easy-ish for me, I'm really ready to apply my enthusiasm to the track. But, and most of us know this, winning never comes down to just one thing. It's usually several things working in concert, right, with one another to create success, except I'm 15 and I don't know that yet. So there I was, feeling all the adrenaline coursing through me. I'm ready to run, I'm ready to win. And as soon as the shot fired, I was full speed ahead. And I mean truly full speed and then some, because of all of that adrenaline and naivete. So that first quarter of the run was absolutely glorious. I leapt ahead. People were on their feet in the stands cheering. I was feeling myself, which makes this next part of the story extra cringy. My legs, my stamina, my adrenaline were no match for my enthusiasm. Of course, I knew how to run, but how to run well, let me just say I crashed head on into that reality. My legs started burning, my body had guzzled all that adrenaline, and when it was gone, I bonked, which looked like slowing way the hell down, and runner after runner went zipping by me. I finished the race, but I may have been one of the last, if not the very last, to do so. Now, of course, naturally, I was embarrassed. I was also confused and devastated, and part of me just wanted to quit. Like, if I'm not going to be great at this right away, why even try? So when that memory came to me the other day, I was feeling the scorch of embarrassment all over again. And then I thought, gosh, it's also really relatable to what I see today. There's oftentimes in the work I do this need for speed and perfection and winning for my clients, right? They're clearing clutter, purging, starting to feng shui. They're changing rituals and routines in their lives and their home. And just like any of us who are brand new to something, we start out with so much hype, and that hope for transformation is like rocket fuel in the veins. It's intoxicating. We're just really good and doped on the big picture, the finish line, the glory of the results on the other side of our efforts. But we have less experience in the how to get there. So we hold this really big expectation with not enough regard for the patience and the practice, and this one's so important, the pace of our work. There is a consistency and present that working with this wisdom specifically requires. Now, sure, I could run, but I didn't know how to pace my race. I didn't know how to efficiently use the fuel, my adrenaline. I didn't know how to manage the enthusiasm coursing through my body, and I wasn't reading the other runners. So let's take Shui as an example. People will often ask me like, hey, Amanda, what should I do in my house this weekend? Or tell me what I can do quickly so I can make more money, find my soulmate, just get all the good stuff happening in my life. And unfortunately, Feng Shui is not a shortcut. It's going to create the environment for success to flourish and flower and thrive, but it's only one factor. And the bigger one, you. Lillian Tu, one of the greatest Shui dames in the game, says, you yourself create the greatest energy. I can come to your house and do all your Feng Shui, but if you allow yourself to be negative, then you create that kind of energy. So why am I sharing that? Well, when we rush to do all the things, when we want to change everything all at once, when we make all the changes and then complain that nothing has changed, which by the way is really saying nothing has changed according to my expectations, we often end up having a similar response to that 15-year-old me who wanted to quit after losing one race. It comes down to a problem with pace. And when it comes to Feng Shui and loving your house, I see pace problems all the time. So I want to share the 3 most common. The first one, when we rush to do all the things all at once, it really hints that we don't trust it to work. So in a way, we're covering our asses by doing it all. And guess what? That desperation is now in the mix of whatever remedies and changes or adjustments you're making. Essentially, you are looking for Feng Shui to prove itself to you, and it doesn't work. The second situation I see, clients will undertake too many changes at once, thinking that they're ready for all the change, and then chaos ensues. And because so many things were changed at the same time, it's harder to figure out what triggered it. And in these situations, when so many changes have been made in one fell swoop, it can be hard to course correct. And it can actually feel like bad luck, like we're not ready for the opportunity, or we don't have the right resources in place, or we weren't prepared. We fancy ourselves way more in favor of change because we always also assume it'll be welcome change, and that's not guaranteed to be the initial result. Sometimes things that we've been putting off, ignoring, trying to pretend we don't need to take care of are going to move into full view, grab your hand, ask you to clean it up so that whatever it is you're trying to manifest or attract has clear passage to you. The third pace problem I see, when we make changes and then complain nothing's happened, it's because somewhere in our minds we have decided that Feng Shui is transactional. But it isn't. This has never been a do this and that will happen practice. You are co-creating with your environment to improve, enhance, maybe mitigate something, and all of this takes time. I want you to think of all of the different parts of your life that have to be orchestrated and sort of finessed for that opportunity to move into place. So, the really important ingredient that often gets overlooked is your patience, your commitment. It's absolutely required. So let me give you a quick example, and it's a super simple one, but I think you'll get the point. So let's say you decide to start making your bed. You know the bedroom represents self-love and prioritizing yourself, and you know that when you prioritize yourself, others will follow suit. So you decide this is worth making the bed every day. And you do it for a week, maybe 2 weeks, but eventually you fall back into that habit of sleeping in or rushing into the day, and making the bed is no longer making the cut. So let me ask you, is that 1 or 2 weeks enough for Feng Shui to change your life? Well, let me ask you this. Is 1 week enough time for you to make any big change in your life? Is 1 week at the gym enough? Is 1 week of therapy or coaching enough? Better yet, is 1 week of a higher paycheck enough? Probably not. Consistency here matters, right? We want the compounding. The same holds true in our surroundings. So here are 3 things you could do, and I would just pick one and see how long you can take it, okay? So the first one, this is one of my favorite suggestions. Do one nice thing for your space every week for the rest of the year. So maybe today you go out and buy some fresh flowers, and then maybe next week you decide to rearrange the furniture in your living room. The following week, you could spruce up your front door. Each week, those tune-ups and acts of TLC will start adding up. They will make some really hearty deposits of feel-good chi in your space. Another suggestion, actively acknowledge proofs of abundance in your life. To do this in your house, I want you to look for the joy makers and the storytellers in your home and give them really good real estate in your rooms. Edit around them so that they stand out. Make that proof of abundance, whatever it is, of fabulous relationships you have, your favorite items that you got on vacation or from a loved one, any of your splurgy investments. Whatever those things are that matter to you the most, I want you to make those the center of attention. And the third thing, make your bedroom a space that indulges and prioritizes you. Now, we've already talked about this in a previous episode, but this means no work, no exercise, no overflow from the everyday. You're going to resist the urge to give yourself a pass on this, okay? Remember, sleep, stillness, and sensuality reign here, so treat the space accordingly. Now, whatever you choose, this is what I want you to know. You are cultivating space that in turn is going to inform and influence you. It's going to inform and influence what you think, how you feel, your behavior, your mood, your decisions you're making, and all of that drives the outcomes in your life, right? So even though some of these things feel subtle, maybe it even feels like things are happening very slowly, they are all absolutely significantly changing the trajectory of your life. So here's what I want you to walk away with. The next time you get that hit of excitement and enticement to try something new, consider this. You are going to get the most of it if you stay with it long after that first thrill is gone. And just like that, it's another episode wrap. A million thanks for being here and listening today. And if you're not quite ready for this conversation to end, come find me on the gram. I'm at Amanda Gibby Peters, or grab a copy of my book, Simple Shui for Every Day, available at Amazon and Bookshop and anywhere you get your books. And if you want to work with me, check out simpleshui.com for all the ways we can make that happen. Cheers to a marvelous week, sweets, and I hope to see you back here in a week. Until then, give that house of yours some big love for me.